Kenya needs to make capital repayments on some $2 billion in maturing international bonds, or so-called Eurobonds, by June 2024. Investors are deeply concerned that Kenya's government will be unable to make these payments and will force Kenya into default. Some 14 countries globally have defaulted on their sovereign debt since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic 3 years ago, and they may soon be joined by others such as Ethiopia. However, Kenya is hoping to bring its ballooning public debt burden under control. Government debt already accounts for more than 67% of economic output. Kenya's government runs a deep budget deficit and is making deep cuts to fiscal expenditures while also raising taxes. President William Ruto has promised to sell state assets and privatize state companies to raise new revenues. No state-owned company in Kenya has been successfully sold off in 15 years, while many state firms are loss-making and require frequent bailouts, most notably national carrier Kenya Airways. The Ruto administration is also considering the privatization of another 100 firms, following the recent enactment of a law aimed at reducing bureaucratic processes. While the proceeds from state asset privatizations may be underwhelming and dragged out, the government is seeking additional funding from the IMF, World Bank, and other institutions to meet short-term financing requirements. These facilities remain crucially important to fund the budget and service debt. The servicing of public debt consumes over half of Kenya's tax revenue, and has caused delays in the payment of monies to several development projects. To meet IMF and World Bank lending conditions, the Kenyan government has phased out most subsidies and raised taxes on small businesses and traders. As a result, the frequency and intensity of violent protests has increased in Kenya over the past year. Hotspots for unrest include the capital Nairobi, the port city of Mombasa, and opposition strongholds in western Kenya. In December, the Kenyan government is expected to use IMF and World Bank funds to make an early repayment on Eurobonds, worth $300 million. Markets eagerly await this goodwill gesture. More Chinese loans that are set to be agreed in coming weeks may help to refinance some $1.7 billion in bond maturities by June next year. However, the cost of Kenya's Chinese loans is already at a record high, while Chinese infrastructure projects such as railways are failing to break even years after completion.